What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we're going to be putting head to head two of the most popular golf balls for amateurs and mid-handicappers, and introducing first in the blue corner is the fourth generation of this two-piece golf ball with a 346 quadrilateral dimple design. This one's got a larger and faster core inside than the third generation, and these balls have a compression rating of 67. On the outside is a reformulated thin Fuse-A-Blend cover, and you can pick up a dozen of these golf balls for $40. It is the Titleist Tour Soft. And in the red corner, it's a beautiful three-piece golf ball with a 322 dimple design. Inside we've got a speed-wrapped core, and these balls have a compression rating of 70. Covering the golf balls is 100% cast urethane, and you can pick up a dozen of these golf balls for $50. It is the Taylormade Tour Response. So looking at our first impressions of these two golf balls, and it's very hard not to notice the amazing paint job that the Taylormade Tour Response has, and this makes an amazing putting alignment on the course. Now, just looking at these golf balls and having actually used them quite a bit, I can say that the Taylormade Tour Response is a little bit heavier and a little bit harder to compress than the Titleist Tour Soft. Now, the Titleist Tour Soft, I was using some fake Chinese balls on the course, and I remembered I had these in my bag. Took them out and off the tee straight away. It just felt a nice easy ball to compress and much more responsive than what I had been using, and I really enjoy using these golf balls. A little bit softer, easier to compress, and higher spinning than the Taylormade Tour Response, which we're going to get into in our testing. Starting off with the driver on these two, and on the day I was swinging the club only 94 miles per hour, and that would usually be about 100, which is going to favour that harder golf ball, the Taylormade Tour Response. The Tour Soft was launching a little bit higher at 14.3 degrees, while the Taylormade Tour Response was launching at 11.7. Distance in the carry, we got 204 yards with the Tour Soft, and we got 195 with the Tour Response from Taylormade, and then it was 219.7 with the Taylormade Tour Response and 221.8 with the Titleist Tour Soft. And the Titleist Tour Soft also span a bit less at 3,815, while the Taylormade Tour Response spin at 3,835. So for me, I prefer using the Tour Soft off the tee. It's easier to compress, gives a little bit more distance, and it's also lower spinning. So 1-0 for the Titleist Tour Soft. So moving on to the chipping, and one of the key selling points with the Taylormade Tour Response is that it's low spinning off the tee, and then it's high spinning and responsive with chipping around the greens. And we did see that the spin rates were a little bit higher with the Tour Response, but it was still less than the Titleist Tour Soft in our chipping testing. This one span at about 5,415 revs per minute, while the Tour Soft was managing 5,885. Now, if you're hitting to a pin that's far away, you probably want this to roll out a little bit further, but if you are looking for a pin that's kind of close to where you're standing, the extra spin on the Titleist Tour Soft is going to be better. And I just favour the higher spinning golf ball with the chipping overall, and I'm going to give this one as well to the Titleist Tour Soft, one of the best balls that we've tested. So moving on to our 7-iron testing, and again we can see that the Taylormade Tour Response spun less than the Titleist Tour Soft. We were getting 5,807 revs per minute with the Tour Response, and with the Tour Soft we were getting 6,590. So if you want the ball to land and stop, then the higher spin rates of the Titleist Tour Soft are going to be better for that kind of mid to high handicap swing range. The Taylormade Tour Response did go a little bit further. We got 116.2 in carry distance and 129.7 in total distance, compared to 115 with the Titleist Tour Soft and 126.3 total distance with the Tour Soft. I'm going to give this one to the Taylormade Tour Response just because it was the longer golf ball with that 7-iron. But as I said, with the lower spin rates, it's going to be slightly harder to hit those greens. So if you hit the ball low and you hit running shots, this one's going to roll out more. But if you hit that high one that's going to land down with a steep descent angle, this ball will probably stop and give you an extra bit more distance. So wrapping up on the 7-iron, and the Taylormade Tour Response was giving us more distance. So if you're someone that hits the ball high and it has a steep descent angle, this ball is probably going to give you more distance and it's going to give you the stopping power on the greens. But if you hit regular shots, the higher spin rate of the Titleist Tour Soft is going to help the ball to stop on the greens. I'm going to give this one to the Taylormade Tour Response, and if you are swinging the club a little bit faster, I think the results with the Tour Response are going to get better and better. I was swinging a little bit slow for this golf ball, but I was getting really good performance with the Titleist Tour Soft. So wrapping up the video with our pitching test, and we were swinging the club a little bit slower with the Titleist Tour Soft, but we still managed to get more total distance and higher spin levels with a slightly lower launch angle. So this ball span at 8,329, and even with that lower ball flight. The Taylormade Tour Response span at about 8,171 revs per minute, despite the launch angle being 5 degrees higher. So again, harder to hold the greens with the Taylormade Tour Response, more spin with the Titleist Tour Soft, and I think just overall better performance as well. I'm going to give this one to the Titleist Tour Soft, but again, if you are swinging that driver from about 100 plus, you're probably going to see better and better results with the Taylormade Tour Response. So that wraps up today's video. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.